Hi everyone and welcome to this episode 4 of Quantum Wave. Today we are going to share about polarities. I am Cendrine, I am a spiritual teacher and ascension mentor. I founded and I am leading the Golden Age spiritual ministry. So me and my team are here to help humanity remember the truth of their multidimensionality, to be able to activate our sovereign soul blueprint and be the brightest version that we came here to be. We love teaching about the embodiment of this multidimensionality so we can work with very deep, a little bit out there concepts in practical ways that are going to change your life. So we love to share this through the architecture of the body of work that we are channeling, which is called fractal dynamics. Fractal dynamics is absolutely wonderful to be able to understand who we are as multidimensional souls experiencing physicality. So we are here to reconcile templates of separations that are literally plaguing humanity and preventing us from realizing and remembering that we are divine beings, that we are living within the unified field now and always. So we are very excited to be able to share with you this episode 4, which is all about the exploration of polarities. It is a very interesting subject because so many of us are aware of the polarities of divine masculine and divine feminine frequencies. Some people devote their entire life to trying to balance these two. And here in the episode, we are going to share all about it from such a unified perspective that you will be able to understand it pretty differently and hopefully be able to perceive that you are already living the one unified field, simply exploring, dancing between different polarities. Polarities is not necessarily only feminine and masculine, but it is also the polarity of as above, so below, as within, so without. So it is the understanding that we are quantum beings. For us, when we talk about the quantum, we talk about the interconnection, the connection between our microcosm, what's happening within ourselves, and our macrocosm, what's happening outside of ourselves. And to reconcile the microcosm and the macrocosm by realizing that everything that is outside of ourselves is also inside of ourselves and the other way around. So, this is a very exciting episode because I know very well that a lot of us humans, as we come to Earth, we think that we are separated from God. And for a very long time, I thought that myself. As I was growing up and really connecting more to my spiritual side, I would always think that God is out there and I am here, so I'm far away from God. I am also very imperfect, so how can I be God? Like, I'm very different from God. Like, God is one thing, like the angels are out there and I'm just here, like this pretty regular, broken, deficient human being. So these templates of separations are really present for many of us. Oh, hi, Rachel. Hi. Thank you for saying hi. Yes, if you watch live or also if you watch on the replay, I love hearing from you. Remember that you can share your thoughts, your questions in the comments, as I love reading them and answering them. And if there is also a subject that you would like us to explore, let us know, because we can do that from the angle of fractal dynamics. Also, remember to follow my channel and to press the button with the little bell, which is an alert. So it means that when I go live, you can also join live, which is always more exciting to be able to join this episode live if you can do so. It is important to realize that polarities or duality is life itself. God, as God was, once upon a time, God was God, simply being God within itself. So there was creation. Before anything existed, there was just God here, God has everything within him, and he's just there hanging out with himself. Just basically, it's what we can also call the void, when there is nothing, the infinite void. So God is present. And then there was the will that God expressed to know itself, like, who am I? And this is how life was created. To be able to know himself, to know herself, God needed to create itself to have a mirror, to be able to have self-reflection. So basically, this God and its own reflection was created at the image of God, the equal same. Well, here can the equal same. What happened from there is that there was interaction. So there is an interaction, an observation. His observation create waves, and the waves become bigger and bigger and bigger, and then eventually the third dimension is created. And as the third dimension is created, automatically the fourth dimension is created, because as above, so below, and it's always to balance all polarity. So here, let's stay within the subject of this episode, the exploration of polarity. So we can see that already from the birth of creation, duality exists. So if we think that in humanity we are in a world that is plagued by duality, and that it is not like that or there, that when we die we are not in duality any longer. If we are living on Arcturus or on in the Palladies, we are not living in duality any longer. That is actually erroneous. That's a wrong understanding of creation, because no, everything exists as a mirror of God. It's just that it exists through different frequencies. But like the Arcturians, the Andromedans, the Palladians, all fractals of God are reflections of God, and God experiences itself through that. So it is interesting to observe that duality is kind of the architecture of life itself. This is how realities are created. This is how we get to know who we are. So when we know that, we can already transcend the thought that a duality only exists on planet Earth and it is problematic, because that is absolutely not the case. Duality and polarities are here to give us a mirroring effect so we can get to know who we are. This is also very interesting to realize that it is only through interaction that we know who we are. Interaction with our own self, with our own heart, with our body, with our mind, with our multidimensionality, but also interaction with other people. For example, if we are single for a very long period of time, it is fantastic, because yes, we can learn to be a happy, fulfilled single person. But to be able to grow and to know if we have really grown and if we are really able to embody the new version of who we are, we need to be in relationship. And it doesn't have to be necessarily partnership, but it is in relationship with close friends, family members. And when we actually enter a relationship with another person, the proximity, the intimacy, the closeness is going to be a very, very powerful mirror. Our partners are our closest mirrors, as well as our family members, depending on how close you are with your family members. But let me know in the comments if you relate to this. But you can be super love and light with everyone, but yet when you are with your family, you're like, oh, that's so annoying. They still see me as this person, and I'm triggered, and my mom this, my sister that, my uncle that. And then all of a sudden, we are not feeling that we are kind of like, oh, love and light any longer, because our family freaking triggers us. This is because of the closeness. It is a gift, because the mirror is very close to who we are, and therefore we can perceive ourselves better. This is why they are there, these people in our lives. So polarities and dualities are a gift of life itself, so we can evolve. Evolution Evolution is always the purpose. This is the reason that we exist. And this is the reason that any beings exist out there in the galaxy. Any being is there to evolve through one way or another. Okay? So the exploration of polarities is the understanding that we evolve through a dance. And this dance is a current, like a wave that is always moving in one direction or another. There is no such thing as stillness. Here, when we see that God creates itself, its perfect replica, and communicates with itself, see itself, perceive itself, it creates waves. And these waves are the connection. No, God is not ignoring itself over there. Otherwise, there is no growth. No, there is communication with, the outside reality. So God, one here, the source of all life. We could say that it is, for example, the microcosm. Like I am my own microcosm. When I enter in a relationship with another, it is my macrocosm. It is outside of myself. Like God enters in relationship with its own image. So therefore, we enter in relationship with our external environment. This external environment is sending information back to us so we can know who we are more. For example, we park the car to do a quick shopping trip and we think, oh, I'm not gonna pay for the parking meter because I'm just gonna be out there in the shop for like 10 minutes. Next thing you know, you're going crazy in the shop, you buy all the things. 45 minutes later, you come out and there you have a parking ticket. Nothing is bad. It is like nothing against you. It's not karma. You're not stupid. Nothing. It's like, okay, there is an experience happening in my macrocosm. So I interact with my own self through the mirroring effect. What's the mirroring effect happening? I am happy about it? No. I'm pissed off. Okay. Why am I pissed off? Because I knew I should have put money. I got, taken into the shopping trip and so on. I'm also angry at society for fear. And so we can see where the point of frictions are so we can grow, we can get to heal those places within ourselves. This is why this experience was there in the first place. It's always the case. It's always there to show the door to knowing ourselves more, to loving ourselves more. Now, when we go more deeply into the polarities of masculine and feminine, for example, there are different angles of perspective that we can take on this subject, my team is saying. So they say let's first talk about the fact that ultimately, as we are fractal of God, ultimately, I love this. Yeah, my mom drives me nuts, but I know it's a mirror of me. I completely understand that. My apology. When mom was still present on this earth plane, very often I would find her quite annoying. But then it was really a great way for me to open my heart and communicate more and reconcile my own heart with her heart as well. So it was a beautiful story. But anyway, exploration of positive and feminine within this dynamic. God itself is everything, so equal masculine, equal feminine. Through its own projections, it experiences different dynamics. Masculine and feminine are really the over architecture of life. So it's really like englobing a lot of concepts. So like the masculine is the fire, it's the penetrating force. It is like laser focused precision and action and willpower and decision making and all of these things. The feminine frequency is more of the lunar energy. It's like the earthy energy, more like grounding, intuitive, opened, perceptive, more into the relaxation of the field so everything can be present within the field. So these two these two are not separated. They are different expression of movement of life. Sometimes life is within the feminine. We observe that a lot in countries where we have massive change of seasons, big change of seasons. That when it's winter, it's like the earth is really into her feminine. It's like stillness, gestation, like the seeds are kept in the earth, waiting to blossom. As the sun comes out, the masculine says, "Come to life now." So there is always perfect balance of masculine and feminine throughout creation. So as unique divine fractal of God, we have balance of masculine and feminine in our energy, in our vibration already. Saying this, we are born within a specific architecture of this current incarnation. This architecture comes from the planetary alignment, the energy that was present at the time of our birth. So we can explore that through astrology, numerology, human design, gene key. I always highly recommend you to have a human design done. If you don't know where to do that, I can recommend some people. Simply let me know in the comments. I will be very happy to share their details with you. Okay? So, for example, I know that for me, I have a lot of planets in masculine. So, what does that mean? It means that simply the flow of masculine frequency, of action, of willpower, of all that constitutes the masculine is simply more easily accessible. For me, I need to place more conscious awareness into connecting with divine feminine, which is a journey that I've been embracing for years. Because when we know the planets that are present and we know that about ourselves, we can shift our awareness into rather of feeling guilty because we are always so masculine or always so feminine. Like what's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. You are born with certain architecture. You have the level of consciousness that you have. After the transmission today, your level of consciousness will have shifted tremendously. Know yourself, then know where to place your attention. Because for me, for example, I know that I have kind of like to hold my human in place to say, well, you've been really activated in your masculine. I know it comes to you. You get like, let's do all the things, high achiever, blah, blah, blah. Let's put you here. You need to recalibrate your nervous system, walk in nature, go have a massage, sauna, like maybe change your hair, buy some clothes that are still you, but that makes you feel a bit more feminine in relationship with other people. See, instead of saying always everything that you want, everything that you're excited about and sharing, see if you can just hold yourself more within your own energy to create the space of communion between all people and express more from an invitation and offering rather than divine masculine will. This is what we're going to do now because I have decided to do so. So you can explore the polarity in your life through the lenses of knowing yourself more. Because I also know that, for example, for me, I am not the fractal of God consciousness, which is a divine goddess who dresses with lots of flowy clothes and is a lot is now feminine and is super emotional and all of these things. Some women express that, some men also, it has nothing to do with gender. Some people express that. It's great. That does not come naturally through me. For me, I would be more inclined to be like, So it is an acceptance of the self as well as observing where areas of growth are present. When we connect with divine feminine and divine masculine, it is important, they say, to always realize that everything is a dynamic, everything is an interaction. So you are interacting within a certain dynamic. So they say, let's make it something practical. For example, relationship with your mother, relationship with your partner, relationship with your children. Let's do it this here, even live. Let's take a moment for you to draw an experience with someone. Maybe this person, you love this person, but this friction is happening there often. And as you bring this person, just take a few breaths, drop into your heart, relax in your body, and then simply ask your heart, what polarity am I expressing mostly when I'm interacting with this person? Is this being really mostly masculine? This is what I want, I'm frustrated about this. And here I'm talking also about distortion of masculinity or distortion of femininity, which are the shadow aspects of this polarity. So maybe we are more in like reaction or aggression, which is would be distortion of masculine. Maybe we are more feminine distorted. We place ourselves more as a victim, being always emotional. When we interact with that person, we can help but always cry or feel really offended, and like, oh my god, how can she or he talk to me that way, and more offended. So ask yourself if maybe you are in that interaction with these people or that person in particular, kind of like playing the role of a certain polarity. And as you have more awareness around that, ask yourself, how can I balance it out and bring all of that into the light so the interaction will instantly shift because I shift myself? Can I bring healthy masculine and healthy feminine? Distorted masculine will attack, will want to defend itself at all cost. Balanced masculine will have healthy, strong boundaries, saying like, no, that is not the way to speak to me. Thank you very much. Like, if you speak to me this way, I will not interact with you, which is sometimes what I have to do with my children. As a parent, you might have observed, you can also write in the comment if you relate, you might have observed that little children continuously test our boundaries. They are always within our lives. And as they grow, they continue to test that. It's part of the upbringing of little humans, tiny humans. So when my daughters go into their rampage about, you don't understand me, you're a horrible mother, why didn't you do that for me? Why did you have to say that? This is where the divine masculine comes in and says, no, you do not speak to your mother that way. You do not speak to me this way. This is unacceptable. This is not a behavior that I will tolerate. Because my level of tolerance diminishes as my standards increases. So in my life, I expect people around me to treat me with respect. If they don't treat me with respect, they are not in my life. And if my children are going to disrespect me, they're going to actually feel my healthy boundaries coming into saying, you should not talk to me like that, like that, like that. If you want what it is that you want, you will apologize, you will change the tone of voice, and you will speak kindly. You might need to take some space in the meantime to speak like this. This is how we create connection with the polarity of healthy masculinity. Also, healthy masculinity comes from feeling into our feminine heart everything that the divine feminine dreams and creates. So when the feminine is distorted, the distorted feminine will go into manipulation, emotional manipulation, feeling flustered, aggravated, triggered, emotional, cry easily, get, all the things easily. Also shutting off completely. When the feminine is harmonious, balanced, happy, the feminine is so relaxed that through this field of relaxation, space is being created. And the feminine can see the bigger picture. And we see the bigger picture about society, um, the world we live in, where we are headed, the way we raise our children. It's like when we are in our feminine, we can have a bigger perception of the future timelines. Our channel is more open. And of course, it's both for, people who identify as male or identify as female, it's beyond gender. When we are in our feminine, we have the ability to pause and take a breath and say, right now, I don't feel that there is any action that needs to be taken as such. I'm in between, or something is missing. I'm not quite sure, but there's a piece of information, or people, or the timing is not quite right. Let's relax. Let's be in the feminine. And we open up the space. When we open up the space and connect to this divine patience that the feminine has, then it means that we are tapped into the infinite quantum field where all potentials reside. And all of a sudden, we are able to access information downloads that we wouldn't have accessed otherwise. And then we are here simply relaxing, enjoying life, nourishing ourselves, nourishing others, daydreaming, channeling, and so on. And then all of a sudden, bam, bam, the ID comes, the download is there. It's like, oh, let's create this. And this creation can be for work, but it can also be a holiday, a trip overseas. It can also be simply a phone call to someone that's all of a sudden popping in our head and our heart. And we just feel that we really need to connect. And this is when we tap into the masculine that's going to take the piercing aligned actions. Bam, let's make it happen. And then the masculine makes it happen. So this is the balance between divine masculine and feminine as the highest level, realizing that we always have access to both polarities. Only our human will have a natural tendency to go in one polarity or the other, depending on the planets and the connections to or the architecture of this life. So get to know that for yourself, okay? So be mindful of where you might, enjoy a little bit distorted masculine or distorted feminine, because we all do it. It's like, whoops, I slipped there for a moment. The exploration of polarities with the feminine and the masculine can also be seen as the feminine could be perceived as the microcosm, everything that happens within. And the masculine could be perceived as the macrocosm, the external manifestation of the heart desires that comes and blossom from within the feminine womb, the dark womb of nothing. And so the masculine is going to penetrate the field and activate that into the macrocosm. Okay, let me know if you have any questions as you are watching live or also on the replay. As I tune in to perceive where to go here. We want to share more about the microcosm and the macrocosm. As above, so below, as within, as without. That is law. And this is one of these laws of life that is an architecture for all life across all dimensions, galaxies, universes. It's always that, okay? The exploration of those concepts in themselves can take lifetimes after lifetimes after lifetimes. Because what does it truly mean? As above, so below, as within, as within, so without. It means literally that we are here present in this physical reality. And listen to this, because this is mind-blowing. We are a galaxy, a universe within. So the inside our body is an entire universe. When I guide meditation, oh, by the way, we have collective monthly meditation that happen on the first Tuesday of every month. If you have not signed up for that, I highly recommend it because these collective meditations are also quantum healing journeys for our own heart and for the heart of humanity. It's amazing. The one that was supposed to happen yesterday is unfortunately cancelled because I had to move the challenge that was supposed to happen last week to this week because last week I was, my body was purging a lot and I have still a little bit to heal, but it is happening this week. So unfortunately, the collective meditation is not happening. But when we practice the collective meditation, or when you join one of my other offerings, for example, Iria School of Channeling, that is opening its doors in October. Enrollments are open if you are interested to become an extraordinary channel of light and go through this 1 year certification program with me and my High Council. So, in that program, or in other programs like the Golden Phoenix Trilogy, which will be launched very soon, an absolute must for everyone interested in accessing a higher identity, quantum jumping into new realities, working with the amazing, unique Golden Phoenix. When we go into meditations like that with me and my team, we go inward. And as we are inward, we witness from within different aspects of ourselves. And these different aspects will literally show a universe. And this universe is our atoms, our atoms, our DNA, our cells, our organs, our bones. All of that is a universe in itself. Everything communicates with one another to, as much as possible, maintain balance within this universe. So when we have the really understanding and we know and when we feel in our body that everything that is outside of ourselves become a projection that is happening outside of ourselves, we can see that the walls that we witness outside of ourselves are the walls that we have within ourselves. How many of us here are raging wars against their body, within their body? My body is too much like this, not enough like that. I hate my body because I'm in constant pain, blah, 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 blah. So the self-perpetuated wars that happen within ourselves become the self-perpetuated wars that happen outside of ourselves. It is not to make you feel guilty or anything like that, or to put the whole drama of the world on your shoulders. That is not the purpose. But this is this understanding that there is a microcosm that becomes a macrocosm. And then we can take our entire planet also as one fractal, as one microcosm that is going to reflect the macrocosm outside of itself within our galaxy. And then our galaxy becomes a microcosm that is going to reflect another macrocosm. So it's always like that. And then the macrocosm reflects itself back within us. So what we see outside of ourselves becomes also an internal reality. So how do we escape this infinity loop like that, which is like literally one of my tattoo, like the infinity? Because we're trapped, it's like if you look outside or if you look inside, it's the same. How do I get out of it? We don't get out of it. We place ourselves at the center of the infinity loop, which is the center of our fractal. When we are at the center of our own fractal, we observe the polarities. We could place here again a line across the fractal, the above reflection, the below reflection. We can feel the fractal here, the microcosm present here, and the macrocosm outside here. We can perceive also different polarities. We could say that the top is the masculine, the bottom is the feminine, or the opposite. So when we work with fractal reflection frequency, we can perceive that every microcosm is a macrocosm, every macrocosm is a microcosm. It is always smaller, 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 smaller. Because if you go to the smallest atom, within the atom we find the neutron, proton and electron, and between the neutron and the electron, we have space. That is the infinite quantum space. The infinite quantum is also what's freaking out there. Infinite quantum possibilities. So it is already present within us. Inside of ourselves, we have all the information from our oversoul network that some people also have called the higher self. The higher self sends us as a projection. So when we connect to a pillar of light or column of ascension, we connect with our higher self, our oversoul network. The oversoul network is a field of information. And this field of information has all the data about ourselves as we currently exist in this reality and other realities. Alternate realities as well as parallel lives. Everything, all the data are present within the oversoul network. As outside of ourselves, so it is inside of ourselves. So all of these data here is not only out there, it is also inside us. Where is that? In our DNA. In our DNA, all the way to our atoms. So we can meditate to receive information about ourselves by going out. And as we go out, we connect to our oversoul network. We can go through past lives, ancestors' timeline, inner child, in other galaxies, and so on. But we can also go inside, which is the way we work a lot now, me and my high council, because it really helps to reconcile our embodiment, to see how truly our vehicle, our human vehicle, our perfect divine temple has all the information. It contains everything. Everything is present within our DNA. When we know this, we can also feel the power of the reconciliation of the separation templates that a lot of us learned from certain religions, traditions, culture, in olden days, or that's still happening now, which is like God is outside of ourselves, and even to get connection with God, we need to go through like a priest or a minister and things like that. That is absolutely wrong. you know, to get connected with God, we get connected with our body. If we are fully connected with our bodies, we are connected with God. God is our body. Because to be able to know God is to be able to know the self. We know the self so well that we know we are a unique fractal of God. It is connecting, merging fully with our oversoul network, our higher self. This is what ascended masters have accomplished. This is the embodiment of polarities through the constant questioning of who am I? I'm not my age. I'm not my skin color. I am not my religion. I am not my culture. I am not my gender. I am not my traumas. I'm not my ancestors' trauma. I'm not that. Thank you to them for making babies so I could be here and from doing the work because of our ancestors, they really freaking had it hard. But thank you, but I'm not that. And I'm not my inner child's wound either. I'm none of that. So who am I? That comes to really bringing our true divine nature out from the inside out so we can receive it. So when we understand polarities, we can see that our macrocosm is here as the gift that we receive to be able to know ourselves. So instead of polarizing our experiences as good or bad, right or wrong, we can bring neutrality and detachment, which is the teachings of fractal dynamics that we share. We reside at the center point of our fractal as the angel behind a human. And we realize all of this polarization happening around us. And we realize the polarization happening within our own hearts. And very exacerbated here, very exacerbated there, very flared out. A lot of drama, a lot of masculine, distorted feminine, distorted masculine, and so on. I place myself as the angel behind my human. Therefore, as I do that, I reside in the one unified field. I remember the truth of my own divinity because it is detachment. We separate our identity from the incarnation that we are having. As we do that, we can also reconcile ourselves with the notion of ego, they say. A lot of people say, oh, look, my ego, blah, blah, blah. Distorted ego, we know what it's like. It's not pretty. Distorted ego becomes narcissistic, angry, very destructive, or very wounded, constantly a victim of this, a victim of that. Stop that. Okay? Stop being a victim or stop being constantly aggressing yourself of others with that. Everything is wrong. Detach. Observe the human having that. As you observe the human having that reaction, you already distance yourself. You create space. You create space for breath. You create space for the quantum to exist. It's very much like if you were to place yourself inside your one of your atom, you would be residing on the planet of your neutron there, and you would see the space between you and the electron popping. Electron pops random places. Poof, 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 poof. You can see it pop everywhere. You're just there. Electrons popping. That's what the electron's doing. Move, move, move here, 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 and there. When you can do that, you realize that you cannot prevent the electron from popping in different direction, as you cannot really prevent the human going in the different directions. The only thing that you can do is to breathe. And as you breathe, you access the infinite quantum. And the infinite quantum is going to give you the direction needed to be able to create the space and the distance necessary for your human to stabilize in a frequency, to direct your human. It's like you can direct the electron to come into certain space and position that is going to give a certain outcome into the cellular information that you want to access. So as you can access that, you can say to your human, very good, being exacerbated by all the things, very reacting into all the things, but can you just breathe and relax and try to observe what's the biggest picture here? What are you learning about yourself? Show me the way. Show me the way that you are learning about yourself. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, what am I learning here? What is actually the gift in this situation? Not saying that the situation is nice, can be really nice, can be not nice, but it's always a gift. There's always something that comes where we can say, ooh, I have learned something about myself. I have learned that I react strongly in this kind of settings. So maybe I will just work around not reproducing these kind of settings too often. But if it happens, I will have the presence necessary for not going like, whoop, 100% into my reactive mode straight away. So you work with polarities, but realizing that life always brings to you the teaching moments. And it's tricky because you will learn the lesson, you will know what you have learned after looking back. Oh, I can see what's happening here. But the more you practice residing at the center point of your fractal, being in your heart and observing literally your own self as God observes itself, as your angel observes its human, the more you live this way, the more instant the lessons come. It's like, oh, I can see what's happening. Let's tweak my alignment. Let's call myself back full into alignment. And so next thing you know, it's like the intensity of the experience goes like, ooh, it reduces tremendously. Because all of a sudden, it's not about you. It's not someone that has sworn that all of her life or all of his life, they would come and intentionally poke you, annoyingly. Mother, brothers, kids. They are the perfect mirrors that we have called into our lives so we could find the unified field. So we can be, it's kind of detached, non-reactive, knowing that it's not necessarily being completely non-reactive, is that the reaction, instead of being like 100%, could be 5%, which therefore our nervous system does not get exacerbated like that any longer. Our nervous system is balanced and harmonious. And when we observe a slight exacerbation of our nervous system, it's really a signal that, oops, something is happening, something is unfolding, calling my attention to be able to learn more about myself, to be able to integrate more aspects of my multidimensionality. It's awesome, isn't it? I absolutely love those teachings that I've been sharing, I've been receiving for years now, because it is changing my life. I'm applying this a lot. And it is very interesting to observe that the human will try to prevent certain experiences from happening because we know that these experiences are going to be loaded. For me, it could be experiences going back home to Belgium, which I haven't done in like 5 years now since my mom passed. It's like it's a loaded gun there. So my human has avoided it. But next year, I'm going. My human is experiencing stress, anxiety, sadness, frustration, anger. My human is experiencing all the things just thinking about going. So what are here to be doing? We are not here to avoid challenges, but we are not here to call them in either. It is understanding that what needs to be happening for our own personal growth is going to happen no matter what. And that there is nothing wrong with you if that happens. I would love to invite you not to judge yourself. So often, I would have students or clients, and I completely relate to that because I used to do that all the time before receiving these teachings. Something shitty happens to me, like something sometimes dramatic, like very intense, like, divorcing my ex husband, or feeling really broke, or feeling extremely depressed, or suffering from addiction, or having my mother getting really sick and then passing. And I'm like, this sucks, like, but it is my karma. I must have done something wrong to suffer in this life, so I'm repaying my karma. Or maybe it's because I talked badly to that person one time, so now I'm experiencing a flat tire, or all of these things. And we go into these freaking tangents of trying to find a reason why we're experiencing a challenge that we're experiencing. And it's completely normal. Our brain, our humans try to make sense of something. So we need to think logically to find a reason. But the reason is that what is happening is a door. It is a door to experiencing more love. And we experience more love as we reside at the center point of our fractal, loving our human unconditionally. And through this love, we say to a human, you're amazing. You can do this. You are powerful beyond measure. Go for it. You're an angel. You can speak up your truth with kindness, but with firmness. You can go to Belgium. You can have the best time. You can travel with abundance. You can have your own space. You can visit all your family members, staying yourself, being very generous because you have so much abundance. You share so many gifts. You can have the best time with them. You can have meaningful conversation. All of that is, you are the fractal of source consciousness because you are capable, because you are loved beyond measure, because you are loved and supported and protected, not only by your own soul, but also by your spirit guides, by God itself, by the earth, by the whole of creation. The whole of creation is literally working in your favor, working for you, so you know who you are. And everything that you are is everything that you think you are, but that you are not. Broken, weak. You are not that. That's like, I can tell you, I know 100% that you are not that. That is the illusion of separation. So, whatever happens in your life, how deeply unpleasant that might be, how can you stop taking that so personally? To think that literally you were placed on this earth to freaking suffer because, to some extent, karma has a role in certain dynamic and expression of this current incarnation, yes. But if you place yourself as being the victim of your karma, you will be that. As you place yourself as the victim of society, you will be that. Okay, so don't hesitate to let me know if you have any questions for all the people live. If there is anything that brings up to the surface, I'm always happy to also receive questions that can be more intense, more bringing, like loaded guns or something like that. We don't hide from anything, any conversation. We are here to be having some challenging conversations. Just before this, I was interviewed by Ruben Langdon. You might know Ruben from Gaia. He has this show on Gaia called Interview with Extra Dimensional. And I got to know Ruben. He's absolutely amazing. I'm going to meet him as well as many channelers in Sedona. If you're in the States or anywhere in the world and you want to come and meet me in person, by the way, please come to Sedona in September. I will be channeling and trance channeling in the Apache House of Fire, which is a sacred site. The vortex is so powerful, I can just feel it, and I'll be trance channeling there. I cannot wait. So I will meet Ruben there as well as Rob and Georgia, who went on his show, and we're all becoming friends, which is very excited. And as well as on Ruben's on private channel, on private show, and there were many people there, and I was doing some trance channeling sessions, and some of these questions, like all questions are amazing, but some of these questions were so refined and so precise and so loaded with whys. Whys really, why are we here? Why is pain present? How are we going to make it, as humanity, going through the ascension process, experiencing the new earth? It has everything to do from living within the unified field. So what the Arcturians were sharing is that as we experience extreme polarization and duality in the outside world, we are being given the opportunity to already be within the one unified field, within oneness, realizing that we are whole and complete and perfect just the way we are. We don't need to be anyone else. We don't need to do anything else, which is what a lot of us humans, guilty here, tends to do, is that I don't have this amount of money on my bank account. I don't have this divine union. I don't have this business. I don't have these kids. I don't have this. So if I don't have that, it means that I am imperfect. It means that I am not a master of my reality. It means that I'm shitty at manifestation. No, that is literally not true. It means simply that you are learning to remove all toxic, dense narratives about yourself and the expression of your unique divinity in this life, to be able to reside in the space of acceptance, of loving awareness. My human has magnetized this life where my human suffers in her body. Her body is ill. But my human also loves pets, and she has these very cute cats, dogs, and goats and chickens. And my human also has a really nice partner, and the partner can be so annoying. Like we've known each other for so long, partner is so annoying, but my human has been able to magnetize all of that as mirrors, as gift, as expression, as doors for more self-introspection. My human is freaking amazing. I mean, like, look at what your human has been through during this life. It is huge. It is huge. When you realize that, you reside in the unified field, perceiving all polarities as you dance with life. You express something thing, you try something, no results. Okay, let's try it another way. No results, let's try another way. And this constant dance with life gives you so many ways of expressing the truth of your divinity that it can really boost and activate creativity. Okay, let's see if there is anything else that's coming through. So as we move through high level of consciousness, which some people would call fifth dimensions, polarities will still be there. Only we will not see them as being negative. Polarity, duality exist through the whole of creation, as we have already said. Only as humans nowadays we think it's negative. So change your mindset. Change your mindset about polarity and duality. Perceive that as simply mirrors so you can get to know yourself and your life will change completely. Okay? So, this episode was brought to you by IRIA School of Channeling, which is a 1 year certification program here to become an extraordinary channel of light. It is for people that are already working as channels and healers and that wants to move to the next level of their service. It is also for people who are not working as such yet, but that they know that they want to develop their channeling psychic abilities to be able to serve others. As you learn about everything that we are going to teach during this 1 year certification program, you will be able to connect through the truth of your own divinity, your unique soul blueprint. It means that from day one, we connect you, or like it's not so much we connect you, but we amplify your ability to connect with your high council of light, and your high council of light co-creates your purpose, helps you bring your purpose to life. So, this entire curriculum is basically built on the foundation of you continuously co creating with your high council, bringing your purpose down. So, you are instantly shifting reality as you join from day one. Because from day one, you receive this initiation into connecting with your high council and your purpose. And then for the entire year, we help you understand what you're here to be doing through the art of channeling. You can channel your high council of light, you can channel your purpose, you can channel your heart, your soul, and you can channel also, of course, we will go into connecting with extra dimensionals, white lions, dragons, all the things. We will learn about architecture of life, and we will also go very deep into ethics, technicalities of being a channel. Okay, and there is also a retreat in Bali. Yes, 1 week in person all together. So if you are interested in joining IRIA School of Channeling starting in October, simply let me know. I will be very happy to send you information. It is for application, so you can fill up an application form and then we can take it from there. This school is opening its doors. So even if you cannot join in October, you can join later. Okay, just that it's opening its doors in October, but then it will be an evergreen program so people can join whenever they feel ready. Okay, I'm very excited to announce this. Thank you very much for joining today. I will see you next week for the other episode of Quantum Wave. Take care, much love. Bye.